Shalom and blessings to all my brothers and sisters, my kinsmen according to the flesh or Israelites. Hope all is well. Want to welcome you to this fellowship. We're going to be discussing should we boycott the N.B.A. based on the recent developments dealing with the brother Kyrie Irving. We're going to be looking at some backdrop behind that, and then we're going to be looking at some more history dealing with the secret relationship between the blacks and the Jews. And we're going to look at how the powers that be are pretty much up in the tone in a lot of areas, even with when it comes to information, how they're trying to block information and the means that they're going to have information hidden and filtered. What's going on, Brother Kadar?
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Shalom to you, brother. Glad to have me on. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out here bringing that word. To all the Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth, the Negroes. Ready to get into this word. We see what's going on. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, know what's going on with Kyrie. And we want to get into it. Find out what's been happening. I had the experience myself when I went to college. I had this guy, he was Italian and Jew. He was my administrator once to help me basically get in college. He was telling me the history between the blacks and the Jews, the blacks and the Italians, and how basically we used to sell a lot of dope for them, and we was very close at one time. It was very interesting. At the time, I didn't know that I was an Israelite. I hope I run into this guy again, but I have a lot of questions for him.
Yeah, I think I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. And during that time, I would hear certain things, but it didn't resonate to me then how it resonates now. I didn't really understand what was going on. But it's amazing how a lot of those things are now very prevalent to the very day that we're living in now. The secret relationship between the blacks and the Jews. It kind of reminds me in a way of how the Most High told Daniel to shut up the book, you know what I mean? And how everything that he was writing was for a time when knowledge would be increased. And so the things that were predetermined were already here. The scriptures was already written. It's just that these things would be revealed at a certain time. And when it comes to that particular work, when it came out, there's a lot of backlash behind it, a lot of efforts to get it removed. But when you look at what's happening today with the brothers Kyrie and Kanye, the things that they expose, the people who are in control, now we get a chance to deal with these things with a certain level of understanding and make the connections. But we're going to get into some of that today, some of Kyrie, some of that history. We're going to deal with a few things today. Brother Kadar, you want to greet the chat?
No, can you go ahead? I'm feeding my face right now. I don't got hungry.
I hear you.
All right.
I'll go ahead and salute everybody. Got Brother Elia, Yashrala, the mighty lion. Shalom and blessings. Good to see you. In the chat, we got Brother Sean. Shalom and blessings to Brother Sean. Good to see y'all. Hope all is well. We got the brother E.T., Brother Eric Tinsley in the chat. Shalom and blessings to the brother E.T. Glad to have you as always. Put the link out there to see if y'all want to give some thoughts to Brother Jason, JPM, Jason Philip McCauley, Brother in the Truth. Shalom and blessings. Good to see you as always. Brother Donovan Ben Judah. Shalom and blessings to you, Brother Donovan. Glad to see you as always. Brother Jabroni, it says, before it is stated No, Kyrie did not apologize. Some cornballs on Twitter posted a fake caption image showing Kyrie apologizing. Yet it's nowhere to be found on his Twitter or Instagram. Yeah, I mean that they're trying to give us that illusion. They said that he apologized, but that's not enough. He's supposed to be meeting with, you know, some big fishes over this issue. Say this is pure disinformation from the enemy because Satan is panicking right now. They are lying their asses off. The war is on. Definitely a panic move for sure. Good to see you, Brother Jabroni. Praise him. Shalom and blessings to you. Hope all is well. Glad to have you in the chat. Nature Graffiti. Shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you as always. Sister Pensy Lola. Shalom and blessings. Pensy Lola, Yah. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat as always. The brother Tone Spain. Shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you in the chat. I'm going to put the link out there, like I said, if you brothers want to chime in. Brother Yash. Yeah, you get on in here, Brother Yash. Good to see you out. Glad to have you in the chat as always. What is this? Trini Puppy, Trinidad. Wow, that's a that's a cool emoji, cool thumbnail. Shalom from Trinidad and Tobago. Glad to have you. Shalom to you and your family. Hope y'all doing well. That's everybody in the chat, bro. I think have you heard about that situation with Dwayne Wade, Brother Kadar?
I seen that you put it up there. I ain't had a chance to look at it yet, but
Yeah, it's saying his ex-wife is speaking out about him trying to make profit off of his son transgendering and all that kind of stuff. So basically,
wow.
I think it was maybe a year or so ago, maybe a little longer, they made an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show. So his ex-wife is basically saying that he's set to profit from deals and sponsorships because of his son. What you think about that?
I think it's sickness, but I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, the way him and his wife now, I guess what's her name, Gabrielle Union, whoever I think that's her name. The way they, you know, put the son out there like that. I understand that kids can go astray and do whatever they want to do when they get a certain age, but you don't have to, you know, push them and make them out of some type of star because they want to be a transgender. They act like it's an ongoing thing with them and it's okay with them and they like it. So if that's true, it wouldn't shock me. I don't know if that's true, but by him even just standing around taking pictures and trying to make it look like it's okay, his son is transgender. That's enough said for me. The guy, I mean, that's sad how our Israelite people, families, that's going astray like this. It's very sad.
I mean, I've heard a lot of things, and a lot of people say his wife has a lot to do with it. His son getting into that. Um, I had a article here. Let me see. Well, we don't even have to get into that. Dwayne Wade's ex-wife files petition objecting to legally change daughter Zaya's name. And this was 2 days ago. And another article was basically, it says Dwayne Wade's wife has filed a petition objecting to legally changing the name and gender of their daughter Zaya, alleging that the former N.B.A. star is positioned to profit from the change and expressing concerns that he may be pressuring Zaya for financial gain. So basically, this is from what they saying, this influence is coming from the top. I thought that was interesting though, because of course, they make our people the face of all these different things, but at the same time, whenever it's vilified, they also put us at the forefront of it. When these are the lifestyles that they've been living all of this time, but they use our people to be the face of the degradation whenever the consequences and the effects of it come, they make us the face of it. But that's something our people shouldn't be getting into. This right here is an article dealing with Kyrie. Hold on one second. It says Kyrie Irving suspended, unfit to be associated with Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving will be suspended for a minimum of 5 games. All right.
First, it started in the morning. We moved it after our show. A lot of funny smart guys that could not be happier for him. He's an N.B.A. guy forever. Been for a long time. Chris Card, almost first joining me. There's a lot of stuff to unpack here. I want to start. It's pretty obvious based on his Boston, Brooklyn, and the early Cleveland stuff pre-LeBron that Kyrie is not a guy you can build around. Doesn't mean he's not talented, but D-Wade, LeBron, Giannis, Steph, there are personalities you feel like you can build around. But here's my question with Kyrie. It's obvious you can't build around him. But do you even want him on the team? Do you believe the Nets privately have said, listen, we're going to keep KD and we're stuck with Simmons' contract? I think they move off Kyrie. That is my guess. What do you think we're going to see? Do you think he's going to last the year there?
Well, it all depends on how he handles this situation, Colin. And look, last night was the first time I'd really seen his off-the-court issues affect his game. He's full of off-the-court issues, right? But he's always been able to play well. First trip back to Boston as a Net, he scores, I think, 37 points.
Yeah.
First trip back to Cleveland, he goes 22 points, 10 assists. Like, he's always been, even a couple nights ago against Indiana, when you had the guys with the fight anti-Semitism shirts courtside,
yeah,
he goes for 28 points. Last night, though, I don't know if the weight of this is really starting to get to him, but he looked stressed, and it looked like the strain of all this is really wearing on him and affected his game.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Colin, that will lead him to do the right thing. You hope that he has that aha moment and comes out and apologizes for the anti-Semitic stuff that was in the book and the documentary that he promoted. And hopefully they can move on. But if he handles it the wrong way, then there's no telling what they'll do. But yeah, he's certainly been more trouble than he's worth. He's missed a lot of games because of injury or his anti-vax stance. And you just haven't, what's sad, Colin, is this super team of Durant, Kyrie, and let's bring in James Harden. They never really got a chance to see if it could work because of injuries or the anti-vax stance by Kyrie.
So they still on this case about the anti-injection position, but then not too long ago, they were making a big to-do about him being right for not doing it based on the information that's been coming back about the effects that people have been receiving from taking it. So they still on his neck about that. Not only that, now they're trying to determine whether he's even, good for a team or not. If he's even good for the Nets. If he's causing more trouble than he's worth, quote unquote. As if the man is out on the street doing something and, getting in trouble in the clubs and, getting caught up in drugs like some of the other people getting caught up in. He's not doing any of that. But now all of a sudden they're trying to determine whether or not he's good for a team. You know, all of a sudden now, you heard the stats. Some of y'all probably don't watch basketball like that, but y'all heard what they were saying about the points he's put up per game and how well he's doing on the court. But yet he's still trouble, more trouble than he's worth for a team that he's pretty much one of the main key players on outside of Kevin Durant. What y'all think about that, brother? What's going on, brother Elijah?
Shalom family, can I be heard?
Yeah, we hear you.
Shalom family, Shalom Ibri and Kadar. I finally caught up with y'all on Facebook after all this time. I've been trying to see which one of y'all, but y'all got, I know he got the other name on there, but I finally got a hold of y'all and thank y'all for that. But first of all, I'll give praise to Yah and we thank him for sending his son. But this event, it says a lot. It says a whole lot. It says, with this whole thing, they want to put it out there as these people that broke down and apologized and things of that nature. And what I want my people to understand is we was never supposed to base our salvation on them. They did something that was, in my opinion, very great. And anybody who is true in this walk and sincere in this walk, we're going to take the crumbs that we're seeing right now and we're going to work through it, because it's just, we're going to use that to build up, what it is that we've been on the road to do. You see, because you can clearly see how all the other Black Power movements and this, it's like they will skip the fact that it is being proven of our quote unquote nationality, that we are Hebrews by tribe, by blood, and we are in a specific tribe, in a specific bloodline. In this book that we've been accused of being the white man's book for all these years, this book is indeed talking about us and all these, and that's why I see a lot of the Black Power guys, the so-called Black Power guys, and then when they get to talking about these two individuals, Irie and Yee, it's a willfully skipping the fact that our true nationality is being revealed. They just skip that because they just want to stay with Black and Africa. When you understand the word Afra is actually a Shemitic name from a Shemitic tribe. That's where Africa come from. At one point in time, all of so-called Africa was just named Ethiopia. Okay, the whole continent was once named Ethiopia. But the term Africa, it is actually from a Shemitic tribe. That's right in the book of Jubilees. And what this proves is this is definitely going to separate the sheep from the goat. Just like
notice also too, they putting the emphasis on the term anti-Semitic, but they not even mentioning what was said or what the film's name is. They're just putting the emphasis on the anti-Semitic. I'm gonna pass it back to you in a second. I want to let Brother Kadar chime in and give some thoughts. What do you think on that?
This whole thing with these people, either they scared half to death behind, these commentators, or they don't know what they're talking about completely. It's the most stupidest thing I ever heard of. Number one, if Kyrie Irving would have got up and said this and that about these people, how can you even say he said a good statement. He said, how can I be anti-Semitic when I know where I come from?
Hmm.
That's one thing I love what he said. Another thing, he didn't say nothing. He just posted something on, on Twitter. And then the third thing is just like we was talking about all these anti to be Shemitic or Semitic means you come from Abraham. How you give? I guarantee you, me, you, brother Elijah, could get on TV right now and talk junk about the Arabs, which they're not the true Ishmaelites, but they'll try to say they are. Or we can talk junk about the Ishmaelites, or even the seed of Edom. Well, I don't know about the seed of Edom. They get kind of, they might say something about that because. But what I'm saying is that we got Ishmaelites, Edomites, Shemites, and Israelites all come from Shem. They're not the only people or man. It gets me mad because black people are so ignorant to the point they don't even know. They said,
Right.
"Oh, you shouldn't be here, dog." Man, the minute I heard one black person say something about this, I'm gonna say, "Do you talk junk about them people that's trying to blow up? Well, calling themselves Arabs and all this." They said it. They can be like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, they supposed to be Shemitic people too. So
Yeah.
should you get in trouble for that?" This is really stupid. What I'm saying is that we are listening to a whole world of ignorant people on TV. I mean, this is really ridiculous.
Hmm.
Really ridiculous. So I pray, and this right here proves that we are the people of the book. Me, you, everybody on this panel in the chat that know the truth. Man, we have no might in our hand to do nothing right now. Not a thing we can do about it. Pray, that's it. Ain't nothing we can do about it. And the scripture tells you it won't be no might in your hand. We have no might in our hand. Right now we don't.
You know,
Oh,
you know what I realized um, from the time this started and got big up to now. If you're not a person who has some sense of understanding or knowledge concerning who we are biblically, most people who don't have that understanding, they don't even really understand what's going on right now. I asked a couple of brothers about this, what they think about it. Most of them don't even know what's going on. I asked a guy earlier, what he thought about the Kanye and Kyrie Irving situation. He was like, I asked him what did he think about how they treating him. He was like, he didn't really know what was going on. He was looking at the situation with the rapper who just died. So more of our people are aware of that. That I believe served as a distraction in a way, especially for the younger generation that's into hip hop and all that. When they hear Kanye say blacks are Jews, he didn't even exclude the ish people. He said, I can't be anti-Semitic because blacks are Jewish too, is what he said. What's going on, brother Yash?
Shalom, shalom. Sorry I'm late. I just was getting myself together up in this room here. I'm on the road, but
Shalom, family.
what's up? Shalom, the mighty lion roar in the house.
Right. I finally got a hold of you on Facebook. Finally.
Brother Kadaz, shalom. Yo, I put in.
Shalom, brother Yash. You gonna go off? You ready?
Huh?
You don't took my spot. You went off last time. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, man. It's, you know what? It's time for us. I looked at that scripture, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. And I looked at it as like, here I am. As soon as y'all came on, I'm trying to gather myself. That's what we need to do. We need to gather ourselves. After this 400 years in captivity, it's time for us to get ourselves together. And we need to start. I believe if we stand up as a grass daggone roots, that we're going to affect change. I believe that the Most High is in this. He's doing a new thing, and I think this thing is uh, somehow it's gonna spurn togetherness out of the deal. I'm hoping and praying, and I'm believing that it's gonna spurn a unity out of this deal, one that we have never been able to have before. I think we're gonna start turning away. I'm hoping that we start turning away from all this stuff that the world has to offer because we're more. The reason why they're panicking is because our numbers are more than we even know. You know, this thing has gotten out and it's bigger than we think. We probably think it's around 20%, and we're probably closer to 50% down the line. You know, out of every two people, you ask, one out of two gonna know who we are. They may not be practicing, but at least they know who we are. So I think that it's gonna spurn a unity out of this deal.
Hey, I wanna show y'all something. This is something I came across this morning. Um, we under fair use, but this video right here is going to show how basically Kyrie Irving apologizing, quote unquote, isn't enough, and now he has to meet with some higher ups. Now think about this. What did we hear the gentleman say, the Jewish dude say yesterday on the news, where he said to say that Jews control and run Hollywood and the media and all that, it's a conspiracy theory, right? But if that's the case, if these people don't control everything, then why is Kyrie Irving in this, for this instance, having the answer to these very people? If they're not in control, why is he having the answer to these very people? This video right here is from Pro Basketball Updates. It's a YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description. Not in the description, but the chat. Hold on one second. While the fair use banner is up, this video is going to go into some details about them basically wanting to denounce. That's not the right link. Hold on. Hold on one second, y'all.
These are projected.
Hold on. I hit the wrong link. Now I have to sit here and wait. All right, here we go. Now here's the link to this video. And the YouTube channel is Pro Basketball Updates. And I'm going to share this with you under fair use.
She represents ever, and you know, everybody stream show as we get ready to get into and talk about this video for the day, which is of course wrapped around Kyrie Irving because that's all the media wants to talk about, and so we have to put out our version of the story, right? And so apparently, Nick Friedel, he's been on a rant with Kyrie Irving. He's been on a warpath with Kyrie Irving this whole time. Him and Kyrie Irving do not like each other. They don't get along. They can't stand each other. He's also been, just talking about how crazy these guys are and just, basically he's just been a dude that's just been, hounding Kyrie Irving, all this time. You know what I'm saying? And he's been trying to be the lead on this report, and seems like he's trying to get his name out there a little more and clout chase off this situation. That's what it feels like to me. You know what I'm saying? And be this bigger name and reporting than what he was before this, which is why Kyrie says, "Oh, he's just going to use this to clickbait." But Kyrie apologized, like they asked him to do, because we don't want to offend anybody. Kyrie doesn't want to offend anybody, according to what he said in his statements before that. But he gave an apology last night. You know what I'm saying? Even though they still won't answer the question about Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Why won't they ask about Amazon? They mad at Kyrie, right? Okay. But why they won't ask nothing about Amazon? You feel what I'm saying? See, that is the real question about this whole situation. But let's get back to this, right? So now he's saying that Sean Marks says Kyrie's apology last night was a good first step, but the organization wants more. They want him to do more. So now they're saying that they want him to meet with Jewish leaders before playing for the Nets again. And he said the organization never considered releasing Kyrie Irving. So basically, they were just going to hold, because they couldn't. They could not release Kyrie Irving off this. You know, if Kyrie literally would have went and got a lawyer, he'd have probably got out of this quick. He just probably would have been blackballed from the league after this season. You know what I'm saying? Because he took legal action against the situation. So, plus teams already been ticked off with Kyrie, but it's Kyrie's last year in Brooklyn anyways. They sick that Kyrie's sick of them dudes anyways.
So it says that Kyrie Irving's apology last night was a good first step, but the organization wants him to take some more steps, including meeting with Jewish leaders before playing for the Nets again. So why we got to meet with Jewish leaders? Why we got to meet with Jewish leaders if these are not the people who control the industry, the sports industry?
Right. Yeah, it shows white supremacy. It shows, this is what the old good saying says, that when you don't understand white supremacy and how it operates, that's the part a lot of us miss, how it operates. And we've seen it right in front of our face. And it brings me to a deeper understanding of how slavery could have been a choice. And it was a choice, because in a sense of how we will sit here and see them, crucify and lynch this brother, because it makes me feel some type of way. Crucify this brother, and as soon as the playoffs begin, we're gonna be right there, buying the tickets. As soon as Adidas come out with something nice, we're gonna be right there, buying the Adidas. Everybody remember the video when the brother went to that nail salon shop, not to go off the topic or anything, but went to the nail salon shop and threw those rocks through the window because he was insulting our sisters, and he went to jail, got bailed out, and the glasses was boarded, and when they came back to that place, the shop was filled with our sisters. Same thing with the weave shop. You see what I'm saying? The brothers was trying to, have everybody to boycott the spot, and it was just our people that was going against them. So that's a act of choosing. That's an act of slavery, And this, like I said, this is really going to shine and separate who's really for this righteous walk and who's not. When most people a lot of people just taking it as just entertainment. And this is not entertainment. This is, it's letting us know something. The guy clearly said, first of all, he didn't apologize. He said, I take full responsibility of what I said. When he said that, he didn't initially apologize, and he gave $500,000 to a fakish organization. He gave $500,000 to it, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's why I said, quote unquote, apologize.
Right, quote unquote, because they and it's the same thing with Ye. He was basically speaking in parables with him the whole time. That's what Ye was doing the whole time, was speaking in parables. But at the end of the day, them who say that it's moved by the Spirit of Yah or has the Holy Spirit, because you know everybody gonna come in here and tell you that they hear from the Most High. Everybody gonna tell you that they hearing from the Lord. Everybody gonna make it seem like the Lord dealing with them. And this something like this will let you know. Something like this is gonna prove who's really doing it or not. Because when we see them basically making a clown out of us, and then you turn around and get right back to supporting them with your money, it really says something about us in a mental state, in a mental term. You see, and that we, all those who are really moved by the Spirit, need to really take note on this. We see, you know, we've been saying it forever. You know, it's bigger than these two, but you know, we are to stand for our brother, and also realize this is all part of the prophecy coming to pass, us getting to the end times, and we about to see who's really for. We seeing it now. All these Pan Africans and everybody who just want to nitpick and not pick out the fact that, hey, these guys are representing not a religion but a tribe. You know, I mean, he sat right there on the interview saying, "Don't you have the Oxford Dictionary?" Okay, Oxford Dictionary that clearly says about us being Afro-Asiatic. You know, we didn't say nothing about Bieber. You know, when he made that song about killing us, killing the N-word and stuff like that. They get away with pure murder all the time, and we can't do nothing. People of all these other races can do whatever, but it's just us that can't even blink wrong. And you still got people wanting to open up, you know, this where Christianity comes in. You know, you still got them wanting to open up their arms and give these people salvation. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, we'll definitely see how this turns out, you know, because this is different in the sense that this is something that's being played out in front of everybody, and it's exposing a lot. But what you think, Brother Yash, Brother Kadar?
Yeah, it's definitely it's playing out because you know what this is. What see they had to, they in the beginning they said there's going to be no consequences. So they had got the Boule brethren to go and first throw them under the bus to give the okay. You know what I mean? And that's why when Barkley got up there, calling them all kinds of names, saying, now we have to explain to these people. You know, you're a man. You don't have to explain for nobody. If you do something, I don't even care if you're my friend. I don't have to explain your action. The other person has to explain their actions. But it's time that I'm just praying that we just wake up to this reality and we stand and unite. You know, the problem is we have too many weak, sissified brethren, or too many of our brethren are after the love of the money to the point where they refuse to unite. You know, I've heard the excuse about not everybody's making, making that kind of bread in the N.B.A. where they can do that. Listen, if you unify, the brothers that is making that type of bread can help the brethren who are not. We need unity. We need unity, but in the end of the day, my prayer, and I'm believing and decreeing that the Most High is just going to up his ante. When they up their ante, I believe the Most High is going to up his ante. We at the point of no return. I believe we're the ball rolling down the hill. What was that scripture in Judges when Gideon was afraid and he told him to go up there by the side of the camp, and Gideon went over there and he listened, and the dude went over there and he said he had a dream that there's this ball rolling down the hill taking out everybody. I'm paraphrasing, like Brother Kadar did, and the dude said that's nothing but Gideon. The sword of the Lord's vengeance, or the arm of the Lord's vengeance. And when Gideon heard that dream, he rose up and got his 300 men, and they took out the whole camp, battle camp of the enemy. That's where we're at right now. We don't need thousands. We don't need millions. All we need is just a few to stand up and cry out. And we're at a time, he says, in acceptable time have I heard thee. Let me get that script. Acceptable time.
Most High said in a lot of places in prophecy that in these times he's turned back to Jerusalem. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Isaiah 49:8. Thus saith Yahweh, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in the day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth and to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. So their heritage is about to be made desolate. This is that acceptable time. I pray.
Amen. Brother Kadar.
You know, this reminds me of what happened to Stephen in the books of Acts chapter 6, the books of Acts chapter 7. You know, they lied on Stephen. They said, hey, Stephen is blaspheming. They said that the Messiah come and change the custom of Moses. All this stuff that they told a lie. And Stephen stood his ground. And we know at the end they started to stone Stephen. And, you know, Stephen looked up and he seen the Messiah on the right hand of the Most High. And he was ready to go anyway. But this right here is what they doing to Kyrie Irving. Not saying he's Stephen, not saying that he filled with the Holy Ghost. But I would say this. These guys that we see coming out and speaking the truth, the Most High is using them. They're not fully equipped, but they're equipped enough to get the word out, and that's what happened, and that's what's going on. Now they crucifying them. How? By taking the money away. Now, if the brother, I wonder what would happen if the brother said, hey, I want to retire from basketball, and I ain't meeting with these Jews. I'm not meeting with these people. I'm not talking to these people. What would happen? I really don't know, but I think that the same thing happened to Martin Luther King when he changed his position and realized, hey, I'm putting my people in a burning house. They talking about black people need to pull up their bootstraps, but they giving money to all these white farmers and teaching them how to farm, how to grow crops. Man, forget this. Let's go get our check. We see what happened to him. He ended up dead. Malcolm X, another one. He said plenty of times, we are the people of the book. It doesn't matter if we Islam, Christianity, or whatever. We black and we the people that come from out. We the people of the book. We see what happened to Malcolm X. Everybody that speaks the truth becomes just like Stephen. And now this is what they're doing to these guys, except they're doing it in a way of taking their money.
Yep. The situation kind of remind me of the guy who played for the Denver Nuggets back in the 90s that got blackballed. The guy, Chris Jackson, he changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. They end up blackballing him out the N.B.A. because he wouldn't stand for the American flag and the national anthem. So because he stood on that, you had a lot of players who, during that time, he was a real good player too. You know, played during the Jordan era. He was one of them dudes Michael Jordan didn't really want to see.
Chris Jackson. Now I remember. So when you were saying that other name, I was like, earlier when you was telling me about this, I'm like, what are you talking about? Now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. They blackballed him out the NBA. This dude right here. It said he was the Steph Curry before Steph Curry. He was the master of the quick release and the killer crossover ball handling that we see Kyrie Irving today. So they making comparisons between him and two of the best guards today. This is how good he was. He got blackballed out the NBA. And the weird thing about it, he had Tourette syndrome. All right. But he converted to Islam. He says he was also a former NBA player who had a dream-like and standout collegiate career at LSU, Louisiana State University. In his 32 games as a freshman at LSU in 1989, he set the NCAA record for points scored in a game, 55. Points scored in a season, 965, and season average of 30.2 points. A ridiculously good point per game average. So he averaged 30 points per game in college. Let's go down to the controversy. In 1996, controversy surrounded Abdul Rauf, known as Chris Jackson, prior to his conversion to Islam, when he stated he would not be standing during the national anthem because he felt the flag stood for tyranny and oppression, and it was his decision to no longer stand for something he didn't believe in. Kind of similar to what we see happening today, right? He also believes standing went against his Muslim beliefs. Now we don't ascribe to Islam, but this is once again an example of a brother on a big stage, the biggest basketball league in the world, taking a stand, and look at how they handled him. It says whether you agree or disagree is irrelevant because, as U.S. history clearly tells us, there are few things white Americans hate more than outspoken Muslim men. Right? You can just really replace that with black men. White Americans, there's few things white Americans hate more than outspoken Muslim men. Abdul Rauf was most definitely that, Muslim, outspoken, and hated. All right, so basically kind of just reviewing that. This was a guy who, like I said, he had a big impact on the NBA. He was a real good player, but none of that mattered, or none of that matters when you stand up to the powers that be. You know, they want the best. They want the best of our people to come give the best of their ability and showcase their ability in front of the world so that they can make maximum profit. You know, in the NBA, on the floor seats, those seats are, depending on the game, sometimes thousands of dollars just to sit on the front row. That's why you see all the Hollywood stars and the other pro athletes sitting on the front row at the games, because they reserve those seats, but they pay for those seats. Man, they reserve the whole front row just for Kyrie Irving so people can wear those t-shirts, fight anti-Semitism, just showing you the power that they have. But this is an example of that.
Hey, brother, you know this brother, Chris Jackson, you know who he played with in college, and they probably would have won the national championship if he would have stayed, but he left early. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, they played together.
Mm-hmm. He left Shaquille after Shaquille's freshman year. He left.
Yep. But if you know anything about basketball back in the 90s, you know about this dude.
Right.
I go ahead, my friend. I almost want to pull up the highlights from when he was busting up Jordan when he scored 50 against Jordan. They don't want you to know about that, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an '80s baby, so I know I'm a youngster and I do remember him. And yes, he was an extreme good basketball player. And you just said the $1 million name right there, Shaquille O'Neal. While he on here, him and Broccoli and when they on here saying that, we ain't forget about that video of him dressed up like a tranny. Um, and also them too. Also Broccoli too. And but this thing about who is that? Sharp, Shannon
You
Sharp.
talking about this?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I posted something like that yesterday on Facebook. Like, but yeah, these guys, this is who they work for. It shows you right there, you know. And this the bigger picture we need to see right here. You see, because with these people they got up front, that Shannon Sharp really got me off. Cause they before they go on air, they pre-rehearse and rehearse everything about 2 hours before they even get on air. You know, so Scott, what's his name? The Edomite Skies, whatever his name is. You know, he goes right for Shannon Sharp.
Hmm.
So all this stuff is rehearsed before they even get on the camera. And while he sit there looking like the old cool innocent Edomite dude, he's the one writing the scripts for him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they rehearse these lines 2 hours before they even get on the air. You see what I'm saying? So this dude play. I mean, you talk about King Kong holding that Edomite girl. Shannon Sharp and Shaquille, them, the prime example of that. You know?
Yeah, these the same guys who said that the league should suspend Kyrie. You know,
Yeah,
but
and then yep.
I believe the most I should suspend them.
man,
Amen.
but like you said, this how you got to do to get down on that level. You know what I mean? It's what you got to be, and these are the people that they're using at the forefront. Like I said, whenever our people start to wake up, they use our own people, put them at the forefront to pretty much neutralize everything that's being done in terms of our people being educated and empowered, with the truth. And once again, the way that they spinning this in the media, it's not really in a way to really educate. If you're not already aware of something and you hear this, then you're gonna be just as unaware as you was before you heard about it. That word anti-Semitism is like the word homophobic. Like I said, it's always used out of context and it doesn't mean what they want it to mean. They just use it or they give it its own meaning. Homophobic means you hate people of the LGBT community. But we know what a phobia is. So they keep using that term to cause people to get on board with their thoughts and their meanings of what these words are. The more they say it, the more you'll get adjusted to their meaning of what these words are. And you'll start saying it. It's like I talked to a brother today. He said the same thing. Why would he say that? You know, that's anti-Semitic. What that mean, man? Anti-Semitic. You're talking about you hate those people. Like, no, it don't. That's not what it means. That's what they want you to think it means. Right?
Right. But he just said it. But Kyrie, he just said it on an interview yesterday. This how you know some divine is in the midst of all this, irregardless of who fold, irregardless of who think this thing is staged, irregardless of who think this is just a conspiracy, irregardless, this is something that ain't happened in history. This is like history being made. Because you got him and another, and then you got Ye, kind of at the same kind of time coming out of this. So this is history being made, and only it takes somebody who is like literally touched by the Yah and moved by the Spirit by Yah to know what's really, really, really popping off. Because they generally, the media that we all know, this wouldn't even hit the air. They would have had some old comedy guy come up front and just keep us laughing like they do all the time. This wouldn't even be hitting the air. But when the Most High opened the door, no man can shut it. And so this thing that we seeing right here, right at the interview, he even said it. You have the Oxford Dictionary. You have this Oxford Dictionary. And in that Oxford Dictionary, it states who the Semitic people are. But this is done in Christianity every day, just like somebody just said. Let me tell you what this means. Don't take time to read.
Yeah.
Doing it in Christian church every Sunday, and they doing it right now because these are the people who own the Christian church, so they come with that same principle slogan, that same Wicca. No reading, just listen to what I got to say. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who got time to study these days, right?
Right. Look at this N.B.A. And what's crazy, hey, who gonna keep supporting N.B.A.? Who gonna keep supporting Adidas? After seeing this, it says a lot. It says a lot because it's even in the law of the Torah that when you see and witness a certain act and you don't say nothing, then you're just as guilty, and that's in Torah. So, like I said, this is gonna separate a lot of the wheat from the tares right here. This is gonna separate, and I'm watching and I'm seeing it, like every day.
What you other brothers think about that? Brother Yash, Brother Kadar.
Hey, do y'all have that definition? Who's the Semitic people? You got it, Brother Eric. I was wanting to put up on the screen.
Anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
I can look it up real quick. Give me a sec. Sure can. Use this technology like a mug.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dictionary. Anti-Semitism. Hostility to or prejudice against Jewish people. That's the simplified definition. It says anti-Semitism is spelled anti-Semitism or anti-Semiticism, or is hostility or to prejudice towards or discrimination against Jews. A person who holds such positions is called an anti-Semite. Anti-Semitism is considered to be a form of racism. Anti-Semitism may be manifested in many ways, ranges from expressions of hatred of or discrimination against individual Jews to organized pogroms by mobs or police. So if you look at them wrong, you think about them the wrong way, say the wrong thing, that's all anti-Semitic.
Well, who are the Semitic people? What do the dictionary say? Who are the Semitic people?
Right.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
and it's like they just making us look way past what happened with Brett Favre and what he just did. You know,
Yeah.
all of the stuff and then they want to sit up and take somebody down for this, but and then we got the evidence that he didn't even do what he's being accused of doing. But you just cool with when people like Brett Favre and um the same um but you notice that though. Let somebody in the NBA get into a fight. They getting sued for thousands of games and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, but in hockey, the referees pretty much set the floor for them to fight. And they fight every day, and you don't see nobody getting fined it for a penny
No.
in hockey.
No.
In
No.
in hockey, because that it's basically their sport. Even though when you do history, and I got a little evidence of it, you do history that sport was actually invented by us as well. And but you see how they played the race card even in sports all the time.
You know what they should have did? They should have put basketball hoops at the end of the hockey rings instead of hockey goals.
Yeah, then we would have been there for that one, huh? Yeah.
Should have put basketball hoops on the hockey courts instead of goals. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because whatever like what would basketball be without us? What would football be and baseball be without us there? You know what I'm saying? So we making them all this money and just like that, you know, you throw somebody under the bus in that manner, but the biggest focus is our people reaction and how we need to wake up and see what's behind and focus on what's not being seen with the naked eye, with the fleshly eye about this whole matter. You see what I'm saying? You don't hear, I mean, it's like all the Kemet Negroes, the Black Power Negroes, all of them, they seeing this and they willfully jumping over the fact that these guys are acknowledging their literal tribe. And they just want to keep it black man, black man, black man, you know. So this is it's a process of the same mess happening all over again. That's that same attitude that had us walking around the wilderness for 40 years and getting nowhere, you know. So this is why I keep bringing up how this is separating the sheep and the goat, you know, because in doing that, we can take that next step like we supposed to, because we ain't gonna be able to take it with people who want to play both sides of the fence and lukewarmers, and so we got to give heed to this. When we see somebody playing both sides of the fence, we call them out, just like the scriptures tell us to do. And all of us that's being quiet about this is say something. So maybe we shouldn't be mad at you for saying slavery was a choice, because we choose it now by not saying nothing, by keep supporting them after they just sitting here lynching this guy right in front of our face, and we just keep supporting them. So like, it's self-explanatory being dead right in front of our face, and we need to like just kind of put on some sackcloth and ashes and cry out and get because if it was you, it'd have been a whole different story, and we got to get that same love for him and all of our brothers that walk around here that stands for the truth, and they taking the same spite of persecution.
Say Trump still ain't answered this Kyrie 100 trial before the people. I'm finna up the tone a little bit, brother Yash. You got anything, brother Kadar? Y'all got anything y'all want to add? Anything else?
No, I'm good. Bring it out.
All right. This right here. Go ahead, brother Yash.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
All right. Everybody aware of this book, The Secret Relationship Between the Blacks and the Jews, right? I want you to notice something real quick. Before we go check the details on that, everybody heard of this book right here, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler.
Yep.
This book goes into detail, and I have this book as well, goes into detail about the true lineages, migration patterns of the people who call themselves Jews today, showing you where they really come from. Look at the price of this book. $10.89. All right. Now, if you look at the history of this book was actually discontinued for a time. According to the historical narrative of the book, then it was brought back. All right. Now we see the price. $10.89. All right. Now, this book right here, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and the Jews. This is a book that was written by the Nation of Islam back in 1991. Look at the price of this book. For one used paperback copy of this book, it's $2,500. It's the same book Brother Yash said yesterday he paid $10 for. If you look within the introduction of this book, it tells you that the price of the book is around $20, I believe. But now look at the price of it due to the climate and everything that's coming out. Notice the reaction of that Jewish guy on the news interview the other day when they were talking about Kanye losing all his sponsorships and, he should be ostracized and Adidas did the right thing, right? But notice his reaction when Kanye was saying the Jews own and control everything. The first thing he wanted to do is jump out and call that a conspiracy theory. But right in the height of the madness, the price of this book jumps up to $2,500. I thought that was interesting. I want to show you something else. On the same website, right beneath The Secret Relationships of the Blacks and the Jews, you have the Ministry of Lies, the truth behind the Nation of Islam's The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, right? So what this is basically a rebuttal to this book. This book is a rebuttal to this book. This book was published by Louis Farrakhan, The Nation of Islam. This book, $699.97. This is a rebuttal book using a simple question and answer format that is easy to follow. The author dissects each claim of the Nation of Islam and exposes lies, misinterpretations, distortions, and exaggerations to refute Louis Farrakhan's charges against the Jews. So this book was published in 1994, 3 years after The Secret Relationship Between the Blacks and Jews was published and put out. So that's plenty enough time to read the book, dissect it, get points, and then come up with a rebuttal book. The author of this book by Harold Brackman. All right. Real quick. Before let me see if I got it up. Here we go. Right there. I want to show y'all who Harold Brackman is. I don't know him personally. I did some reading up on him. But here's your boy right here, Harold Brackman. Let's make him big on the screen. Look at what he says. There is no denying that the Jewish Babylonian Talmud was the first source to read a Negrophobic content into the episode by stressing Canaan's fraternal connection with Cush. Negrophobic, right? So, judging from how they define phobic, I would take it that he's saying this is like hatred and how they describe the Negroes in the Talmud, but we know that phobic is fear. Negro fear. But for the sake of talking to them and dealing with them, we're gonna deal with it from their point of view. Negro hatred content into the episode by stressing Canaan's fraternal connection with Cush. The Jewish scholars, he said, advanced two explanations for Ham and his children being turned black. According to Brackman, the more important version of the myth, however, ingenuously ties in the origins of blackness and of other real and imagined Negroid traits with Noah's curse itself. According to it, Ham is told by his outraged father that because you have abused me in the darkness of the night, your children shall be born black and ugly. Because you have twisted your head to cause me embarrassment, they shall have kinky hair and red eyes. Because your lips jested at my exposure, theirs shall swell. And because you neglected my nakedness, they shall go naked with their shamefully elongated male members exposed for all to see. This is the same guy who wrote the rebuttal book to the secret relationship of the blacks and the Jews. So this is basically how the Talmud describes black people and the curse of Ham. What y'all think about that, brothers? Y'all there? Brother Yash, Brother Kadar, Brother La?
Yeah, I think it's foul. See, they allow you can go ahead. See, and that's all the stuff they're trying to cover up.
Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, for real. But yeah, nah, see, but that's that foul filth that they put out. Yet, and still our people, especially our people in Christianity, look at these mugs, our people that is, look at these people like they're the true chosen. You know what I mean? It's just plain wickedness, the stuff that they be putting out. You know, I got it on my news here. It's on mute, but I'm looking at how they got these all black panels and the one white dude for everybody to condemn Kyrie. They just had Durant up there trying to get Durant to condemn him. Durant didn't condemn him, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they try to get him to condemn him over that other situation too.
Yeah, they tried to get him to throw him under the bus, and he gave him a nice political answer. But he didn't condemn the brother. He gave him a nice political answer. Man. It's like, well, it doesn't even disrupt the team. It's like, look, man, at the end of the day, we're all professionals, and we come up here and we come up here to do the best that we can.
Sister Lenya say she got hers off the Nation of Islam website. You know, like I said, you can go on the website.
Go to their website.
She said she got all three.
Yeah,
I found it's funny, man, because I found a website, right, that you can download them, and I downloaded volume 2. Remember, you gave me the first.
Yeah.
I downloaded volume 2 from the website. Volume 3, I couldn't really download it for some reason because it was a different file type. But I went back to the website today, and the website is out of there, bro.
Yeah. You know, because they'll put this information out. See, at the end of the day, And I learned this early in the awakening. They still, and I don't understand why, how, or why, but they have to tell the truth. They are not allowed by the Most High somehow. They have to expose them. So at the end of the day, all this, they are not going, they can stifle all whatever information that they want, but they cannot stifle all that information. I learned this early. That's why all this information is out there. And they have so much information out there, they're not going to be able to hide. You know, the focus of our prayers, I say this every time, it's got to be in our mind. It's got to be in our heart. The focus of our prayers, as we're praying that the Most High bring down this kingdom, that He just raise up some Gideon, raise up some Joshua, raise up those who are in the know.
Mm-hmm.
They take one down, raise up another. Take one down, raise up another, till this thing is unable to be stopped.
Michael Yah say he boycotting the NBA. It's funny because I don't really watch games now like I used to. If I do watch something, it's more so like a highlight they have on the internet now, where you can watch practically a whole game in within 7 minutes. You know, but as far as the NFL, I boycotted the NFL a long time ago. I don't even watch football no more. After I saw what they did with to Marshawn Lynch to keep him from winning the Super Bowl and shaming Tom Brady, I ain't watched the NFL no more after that. Straight up.
I hear that. But we got to get we have to get all of our people on one accord. And we have too much worldliness amongst our people right now, you know. But who knows? Maybe this is what we call the separation of the wheat from the tares. People say it, but maybe this is the actual. This I'm gonna go back to Gideon. You know, where when it was time to choose the soldiers for his army, you know, he went down from hundreds of thousands to hundreds.
Yeah.
The Most High will knock you off real quick these days. We better understand.
See, you look at Harold Brackman, these the people they use to rebuttal. Go ahead, Brother Kadar.
Yeah, N.B.A. I've really been started watching that. I will watch doing carrying them play, but I actually really started watching N.B.A. back when the way they did Allen Iverson, you know. But football, I've been a football fan. But this year, this all came at the right time. My Steelers ain't no good anyway. Boycott being there. It came at the right time.
Boycott.
Yeah.
Good time to boycott.
Yes.
Brother Elijah, what you think, bro?
Yeah, I'm all for the boycott. I'm all for it. I'm boy. And you know where I stay at, it's all right to boycott because our team lose every game anyway. But I'm all for boycotting it because you know it's a principle. It's a principle because we do it with these pagan days anyway. You already know this pagan Thanksgiving that Facebook is going to be quiet as a mouse, and people are going to make up a million excuses why they went to go celebrate this. You know, this is the problem that we had, and this is why we had lost many battles when we was with Joshua and them because of the fact of the same mindset, the mindset of trying to bring in a certain mindset on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We wanted them when the Most High Yah said, destroy all the statues, don't take their silver, their gold, or nothing. But when after the battle was over, we was trying to take some of the good stuff with us, and it caused us to lose the next battle. we doing that same mind frame over here. You see what I'm saying? And this is why it's not a riot right now. Can I say it like that? This is why it's not a riot right now over this mess. Because for some reason we march for everything else that's staged, but when some real shit like this happens, excuse my French, it's like you can feel it in the air, crickets. You can just feel it without even having to be out there. You can feel it, you know, because I mean, it's you know, you people, you pick and choose what you want to see, and once you have done that, you are very well in tag for an idol worshiper, because you're creating your own reality. You're creating what you want to see and not what it is. And Negroes in America, we are the best at doing that. The best. And you've seen it being played out right now. This they getting right on national television saying, I am an Israelite. Here's what boom, boom. And we just it's only gonna reach the people it's meant to reach. But the trumpet is that, you know, as far as boycotting, yes, I boycott the basketball, the football. You know, I boycott and all that. You know, I even thought about going as far as buying my own fabric to just make my own clothes and everything. Cause I'm like, you know, there's a mindset. Boycotting something physically is different than boycotting something mentally. And we have not boycotted the love for the world mentally. And you can see it happen right now. Because look, they're about to keep, this is in New Jersey with the Nets, Newark, New Jersey. Now, every time we look at the TV, the media shows us some gangsters and this, that, or whatnot. Man, it's supposed to be a ride out here, B. It's supposed to be.
Shout out to the brother Shamar Yah Bun Yahawada for sending this. He just put up a comment. Let me go back to that comment about, he said, did y'all see they may remove Ron's video from Amazon? Now, I hadn't seen that. That must be a new development, but the comment says they may remove Ron's video from the platform now. This is probably the beginning of sweeping the net clean of anything against their agenda. The Anti-Defamation League, in conjunction with Brooklyn Nets, have sent a letter to Jeff Bezos and Amazon leaders to either remove the book/movie at center of Kyrie Irving's situation from the platform or add explanation about issues with the content, source tells.
So that means if you don't remove it, then you just gotta he's gotta put a disclaimer on it saying it has some material in it that may be anti-Semitic in nature. That's all they say. Either remove it or else. Or put this up there. But at the end of the day, when that first broke loose, if I was Ron Duffy, I said it, I would have had a fire sale. My books would have been cut in half, and the daggone movie would have been either cut in half or shown for free. I would have got, because you know that wasn't gonna last.
Uh-oh, there we go. This is what Brother Liar talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely close my account if Amazon does that.
Yeah, now what we do, what we got to do is in mass put out of a petition and write them a letter. Okay, because at the end of the day, Amazon depends more on our community buying orders, and they know that. We write the letter, we send them the petition. Then the ADL, or the Anti-Defamation League, they got power, but they don't have the power to shut down their own, and they know that.
Man, what are they so afraid of, bro?
You know what they're afraid of? The truth.
Yeah, he took the word right out of my mouth. The
You,
truth.
Yeah, bro.
you afraid of the truth. You're running scared. Most High got your back pinned.
What's the truth they scared of? That they running things?
The truth is that they are. No, the truth is that they're a bunch of imposters and that they've been using stolen identity to
Oh,
rob the nations of their wealth. That's what
oh.
that is.
I thought that was something. That was something like what I told somebody earlier.
That's exactly what it is.
And
The
that
truth is that the jig is up and they's about to lose all their money. The truth is that the reparations will come up out of their pocket. That's what
Wow,
the truth is. The truth is they're afraid that there'll be another situation that they had before.
wow. Appreciate that, brother Shamar. Yah. That brother be sending me a lot of info, man. Thank you to everybody who sent info, especially during the lives. But let's get into it. My brother Kadar over there, like, man, come on with it. Because
Ain't that word?
yeah. See now, this right here, y'all can see this. This is a copy of volume 1, the cover to volume 1. Some of them look different, but this is the one that I got from Brother Yash, volume 1. And this is volume 2. All right. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, volume 2. And this is the book, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. All right. All this information to get into, dealing with who these people are, where they come from, and how they operate, how they move in these different nations. All right. So, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, volume 1, Nation of Islam, Boston, 1991. All right. So let's get to the intro.
can I say this right quick?
Go ahead.
Talking about the I know a lot of y'all probably already know about this. That when talk about a secret relationship, you just look up the good ship Jesus. When you look up the good ship Jesus and all of the ships and stuff that were funded, it was them. I can't say their names. It was them that funded that and sponsored all that. And here's another one. Look up, if you can, the confession, Hitler's confession. When you look up Hitler's confession, he on there telling you who we are.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, you look up the Hitler's confession. He lets us know he knows exactly who we are, and like I said, they funded all of the ships and it was funded by these very people. When you go to the NBA, they exploit our players, our brothers that plays it. They exploit them. I had a picture or two where they had all our brothers up there standing, half naked, just like they did in slavery when it was time to buy a slave. They do the same thing with our NBA brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk about some secret relationships.
But see what they doing. I'm gonna let you go, Brother Yash. What they doing too is hiding behind white identity as well. Go ahead, Brother
Yeah,
Yash.
yeah. Now I was gonna say, shoot, if you want to know about the secret relationship, just look at your television. Look at these all the stars. Look at these ex basketball stars and announcers. Look at how they're getting black folk to come against their own.
Hmm.
That's the secret relationship. Look at your politicians. Look at the Congressional Black Caucus. We ain't even got to go far into history. All we got to do is look right at our television. All we got to go is look at our lifestyle. We got to and ask ourselves, why hasn't things changed? Look at these developments. Look at what happened with Kanye. regardless of the idiotic things he said,
Mm.
about us. You see what I'm saying? Then you look at how all of a sudden these people who supposed to be so rich and influential of our community, who, by the way, make up the bulk of that $2 trillion thing that they like to blame it on us lower level black. No, it's them. They
Yeah.
got all the money. We ain't really got nothing. We living on scraps. Our money is mostly going in the bills. We paying. We living. We trying to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just look at your TV. I'm looking at it right now. You know what I mean? How you drag one of us forward and threaten us, and then you get the others to come down and condemn him.
Right.
The secret relationship.
Yeah, they condemn and blame us for a lot that we don't even have power over. You know, even the subculture. This subculture is the same subculture that the Europeans that was brought over here, the low-level Europeans and the Jews who were brought over here, who was expelled, they all lived the same culture. Throughout Jewish history, they were expelled out of a lot of nations. And so because of that, they had to start from the ground up in a lot of places. This is why they always talk about their struggles. They don't have nothing to do with us. They got something to do with how y'all people operate. And when they get tired of y'all, they kick you out. At least y'all get to start from the ground up and build your way back up. Each society they went into, they infiltrated and got in high positions. When it comes to the struggle, they want to relate their struggle to our struggle. The introduction says, throughout history, Jews have faced charges of economic exploitation of Gentile communities around the world. Economic exploitation of Gentile communities around the world. This is why nations kick them out. Indeed, no single group of people have faced blanket expulsion in so many places around the world as frequently as have the Jews. Nobody has been expelled more than them. The pattern and the charges are familiar. Monopolization, usury, sharp practices, selling cheap goods, frequent bankruptcies, etc. All such claims seem to preface the expulsion orders and are vigorously denied by both those charged and by the Jewish writers of history. So they denying it, basically. They denying why the nations kicked them out. It says, but this is not the only charge that is made against Jews. Jews have been consecutively linked to the greatest criminal endeavor ever undertaken against any entire race of people, a crime against humanity, the Black African Holocaust. You brothers can stop me at any time. I'm just going to let it loose. They were participants. They were participants of the entrapment and forcible exportation of millions of Black African citizens into a wretched and inhumane life of bondage for the financial benefit of Jews.
And you know what? And it's funny because I remember, I guess it was about some 20 years back when we were what was that? They started up those sites to do your search for your family lineage. And I was looking at my mother's family lineage, and that's when I found out that the slave master of her family, the biggest slave owner in South Carolina, was a Jew. His last name was Mazik. And that really crushed me, because I was like, that crushed me, and I was like, damn. But that really began my journey, expanding my journey, because like I was a Hebrew, I was a Christian who believed I was a Hebrew. But after I seen that, I knew that everything that we thought about those people were wrong. And I had to go back, and then I did massive research into their stuff. That's when I bought the book, The Secret Relationship, and other things. I did massive research, and the depravity that I found along the way was endless. It was like the wickedness exposed or done by many people in that group was, it was just.
Well, I mean, you can see just from how they responding, saying that it's conspiracy and all of that, because it's a lot goes into this. More goes into this than just the slavery aspect of our people. You got.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of things. Like look at all the money these people get from American taxpayers every year and from
And you
other
know
people
what?
around the world.
And you know what? Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. And I don't think it as much. I don't think they're as much worried about the identity aspect, and I don't even think they're as worried as much about the slavery aspect of them on all them boats. The thing that I think they're most worried about was that he put in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, because if anyone read that, you would gain full understanding of the book of Revelation.
If you got that, send it to me on PDF. Somebody put that in the chat
I
not too
got you.
long.
I'll send it to you. I got you.
Let's
I
get
might
some more
not
of
have
this.
it with me, but I do have it, and I will send it to you.
All right, let's get some more of this. It says the effects of this unspeakable tragedy are still being felt among the peoples of the world at this very hour. Deep within the recesses of the Jewish historical record is the irrefutable evidence that the most prominent of the Jewish pilgrim fathers used kidnapped Black Africans disproportionately more than any other ethnic or religious group in New World history and participated in every aspect of the international slave trade. The immense wealth of Jews, as with most of the white colonial fathers, was acquired by the brutal subjugation of Black Africans purely on basis of skin color. A lot of people say it ain't about skin color. It's a concept
That's
unfamiliar
right.
to Moses. What you say, Brother Kadar?
No, I was just agreeing you that was exactly people say it's not about skin color, but what do we see here?
I mean, we see Edom pretty much subjugating the people of the Most High based on their skin color. A concept unfamiliar to Moses. It wasn't about color back in their day because everybody was melanated or carbonated. Now, compiled for the first time, the Jewish sources reveal the extent of their complicity in Black slavery in the most graphic of terms. Until now, the facts herein were known only to a few. Most have always assumed that the relationship between Blacks and Jews has been mutually supportive, friendly, and fruitful to suffering people, bonding to overcome hatred and bigotry to achieve success. But history tells an altogether different story. This report will focus on the hidden history of Blacks and Jews from the Jewish historical record. Rabbi Henry Cohen, author of the book Justice, Justice, makes a telling point. So they already quoting a source from a rabbi, Henry Cohen. right? Cohen last name, Cohen means priest in Hebrew, according to brother Divine Seed. It says the parallels between the Nazi terror and the American slave trade are more startling than we may realize. When Negroes were brought from the heart of Africa to the American South, 1/3 died en route to the African coast, and 1/3 died in the suffocating prisons on board. Once here, families were purposely broken up. Husbands, wives, and children forced to go their separate ways. Must we be reminded of the death toll in the suffocating boxcars bound for Auschwitz, or of the tearing of children from their mother's arms? Furthermore, in Roberta Strauss Furlitz, I don't know how to say that last name, says the fate, but we know it's a Jewish name. The fate of the Jews, a people torn between Israeli power and Jewish ethics. She confronts the reality of her people's Western development. So these are Jewish scholars writing this stuff. Whether so many, this is the source. Go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah, when we see in Zechariah, that's one of one of the books he brings it out. We know now they'll try to say we never had a part in slavery, this, or they'll try to say that's anti-Semitic, whatever. We got the history, the brother brought out right here. The own people writing it. But Zechariah 5 says, who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherd pity them not. And we see what Charles Barkley and T.D. Jakes and everybody, nobody's stepping up. But guess what? They sent up there trying to lie and say they never had us in slavery. Come on, man.
Man, that passage is very fitting because when you look at other sources that talk about their mentality toward the slaves, how they had a business mindset, a business mentality, like it's not personal, it's business, so that was a way to absolve guilt for the things that they was doing. Appreciate that, Brother Yash. Sending that in the email. I'll check that in a minute. Appreciate it. Let's get some more. Let's say she confronts the reality of her people's Western development. All right, this is how they came up in America. Whether so many Southern Jews would have achieved so high a level of social, political, economic, and intellectual status and recognition without the presence of the lowly and degraded slave is indeed dubious. So in other words, without slavery, they wouldn't have gotten what they got. How ironic that the distinctions bestowed upon Jewish men like Judah P. Benjamin were in some measure dependent upon the sufferings of the Negro slaves they bought and sold with such equanimity. It is a relationship that needs further analysis, one that is not fully known, hidden, and misunderstood. It is indeed time to reopen the files to review and reconsider the secret relationship between Blacks and Jews. So, the first chapter, Jews and the African slave trade. We're not going to read all this book if y'all thinking that. But we showing you how these people who control everything today, pretty much, they controlled everything from the time we were brought here. The shipping of our people, the transporting of our people, and even before then, they were in control of nations' money and finances and politics. They had already been expelled out of Europe, many nations in Europe prior to the slave trade. But check it out, it says, throughout the history of the practice, Jews have been involved in the purchase and sale of human beings. Think about the modern day trafficking, right? It says throughout history, so it ain't ended yet. This fact is confirmed by their own scholars and historians. In his book, A History of the Jews, see, we ain't even well into the chapter yet. They already calling them out. Solomon Grazel states that the Jews were among the most important slave dealers in European society. Lady Magnus writes that in the Middle Ages, the principal purchasers of slaves were found among the Jews. They seemed to be always and everywhere at hand to buy and to have the means equally ready to pay. Henry L. Feingold stated that Jews who were frequently found at the heart of commerce could not have failed to contribute a proportionate share to the slave trade directly or indirectly. In 1460, when Jews were the masters of the nautical sciences in Portugal, that nation was importing 700 to 800 slaves yearly. This was in 1460. All right. And this is when they were a lot of them was shipping so-called Indians, natives during this time. It says the success of these medieval merchants was enhanced by their supreme linguistic abilities. They spoke Arabic, Persian, Roman, Frankish, Spanish, and Slavonic, and displayed a business acumen far in advance of the times. The Jews' participation in the slave trade, particularly their trafficking in non-Jewish slaves, incited the moral indignation of Europe's Gentile population. So when you hear about Britain trying to abolish slavery and all that, who was they trying to stop from doing it? By that time, it had become more of a private sector, slave trade. It says the Europeans reacted by taxing the Jews, and some were expelled from their host countries for this activity. The expulsion of Jews by European governments was not unusual, with most of the complaints centered around economic exploitation. How do you exploit a nation economically unless you get to the top of it? And these were European nations monopolizing or sharp practices. By 1500, with the exception of certain parts of Italy, Western Europe had closed its doors to Jewish people. The following listing is a partial record of the countries and dates of the Jews' expulsion from various European countries. All right. Now I'm gonna just leave that on the screen, and while that's up on the screen for a while, and before we continue on, you brothers got any comments so far? These are all the nations that the Jews were expelled from in the years that they were expelled. Any thoughts so far?
European nations look like, huh? I wonder why they was expelled. I wonder why.
Because of economic exploitation.
Yeah. Same thing happened in Germany.
Yeah, he kind of took the words out of my mouth. This is the real reason they making Hitler out to be this evil guy, which we're not saying I'm sure he was, but the real reason is because they were actually doing them dirty. You see, and so with that saying, they known everywhere they go, they're known to do what? The word said today, the devil come but to kill, steal, and destroy. Now, let's take this thing on a history note. When you go into history, everywhere they go, what they do? They kill, they steal, and destroy. And this play a role why they was probably exploited. Cause see they can you see how they buffing on us now. Look how they crucifying our brother Ivory. They buffing like all this in front of us. But see, they can't do that with Putin. You see what I'm saying? Can't do that with Putin. Cause see, all this revolves around us. When we get that in our head, that all that you see going on in white media with these wars, it evolves around us. We are the only reasons why no nukes have hit this country yet. It's simply because of us being here. If we leave, that's a wrap. You see what I'm saying?
Brother Sean say the beginner's channel, your reading of this information is perceived anti-Semitism. Hey, you're right. You're right. Because I'm Shemitic. Right? I don't know what Semitic is. Anti-Semitic. They got to spell the words right, Brother Sean. But see, that's another deception. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm upset, because I'm just so upset because I wonder what can we do, man? Can we do something? I mean, maybe we need to go into prayer and see if we can hear from the Most High, scriptures He can give us. What can we do? It's got to be something that we can do about this. It's got to be something that we can stand up for, something we can do. We know marching don't work. I mean, but what can we do? I mean, you think we should reach out to CNN? Not be so, I think Ron Dobbs was being too forthcoming, asking for a little debate. I mean, small for the whole world to see it. I don't know. What can we do?
I mean, I agree with the fasting and the prayer part and coming together with that. But I think if anything, we should reach out to the people that's, to respect the people that's involved. Maybe we can hashtag Kyrie on something or reach out to some of the other people who understand this truth. Because another thing that'll happen too is they'll try to keep that down too. They'll keep it down that you have people speaking out. I haven't really seen many other celebrities or anything, being vocal on this, but I would say the fasting and the prayer and reaching out to these brothers via hashtag or, it's with the technology these days, you can reach people, but we should definitely be in prayer. We know what prophecy says, and so according to Zechariah 8, we're supposed to be declaring the truth, everyone to his neighbor. But what you brothers think on that before we continue?
Yeah, we should definitely, and that's that's the part I keep going back to. This is a call. This is a call to prayer. This he said, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked way, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sins and heal their land. That's what we need to do. See, because what they say are the scripture says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. What this television, that's a stronghold. Their money, that's a stronghold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the only way we can come against them, we have you have and they have an imaginary power. That's money. What the name of Eliphaz name translate to? My God is gold.
Right.
But we have the name of the Most High. Call upon him in a time of trouble, and he will heal us. This is a time of trouble. This is their last push, if you ask me. you know, because they've already tried everything else. You've tried to kill us for the last 2,500 years. That has not happened. You see?
No
So, but
sense in
you're
killing your
right.
bottom line.
Huh?
I said no sense in killing your bottom line. I mean,
Exactly. But we do have the name of Yah. We can call out and we can cry out, and he will hear us because it's him hearing us that has gotten us to this point. It's him hearing us that has gotten celebrities now coming out. So as they pull all these things and try to dampen us, it's time for us to pray even more. What he said, when you get into the land and you start to turn, seek my face 7 times more. That's in Baruch. It's time to up our ante to 7 times more. It's getting real. Now, who is more powerful? They say my God is gold. I say our God is Yahweh, our Elohim,
amen.
our power. That's what I do. As far as debating, that ain't getting us nowhere. Inviting Ron Dalton on, he had an opportunity. He blew it. He got in his flesh and he challenged them to a debate.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than just go ahead and start giving stuff away, start doing a fire sale.
Yeah.
Buy the truth and sell it not.
Hmm.
Freely you have received, talking about the knowledge. Freely shall you give. Give and
Amen.
it shall be given unto you 10 times over. Pressed down, shaken over. Shall men give it unto your bosom. This is time
Amen.
where we see an opportunity, we gotta go snatch it because we know that we ain't gonna have but much time to do it. I would have got him up under him.
Yeah, I definitely believe that should have been played a little different. Go
Real.
ahead, brother Kadar.
I would have said in my mind, boom, opportunity. But then it exposes even some of our hearts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where are we at in this? You know what I mean? Or where are we really at? Are we really in tune with the spirit of the Most High, or are we in tune with our own work?
Hmm.
The reason I asked that question because even in Egypt, it's something that our people did, and Moses and his brothers stepped out. So of course they was praying, fasting, and we had somebody that was in the house of Egypt was willing to step out for their brethren. So even though yes, fasting and praying, most definitely that, but the same way that the Most High used Moses, He gonna use somebody. I guess it could be the two witnesses. I pray that they come soon, but I just believe that when we look at the Old Testament, our people had to get up and move. They fast, they prayed, but they had to do something. They just didn't fast and pray and just wait. Even within in the wilderness, see what happened. And they was turning against him. Mostly all our people died, except for the children, the ones who went in the land. So it's something that we had to do more than I think just fasting and praying.
Yeah, but see,
Even with like with Stephen and what he did, and they killed him. I mean, they murdered him because all he did is told the truth, just like what these brothers doing now.
but the thing is,
Yeah, fasting praying is good. Now, I would never say it's not, but I guarantee you it's much more once we dig in these scriptures that we look at how we get free from each captivity. It was more than fasting and praying.
yeah, here is the thing. No, because that was the instructions that we got. We had to fast, pray, turn from our wicked ways. But here's the thing. We are doing something. We have been all along. You know what I'm saying? All along. We've been doing this thing non-stop since 2000, 2001 after 9/11. That's when everything really took off. Non-stop. Where in the
Right.
last
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, my brother.
No, I think you was talking. I think I think I made the mistake by cutting you off. So
Okay,
just
yeah,
finish.
because what I'm saying is we're in the last 4 to 5 years, we have grown exponentially as a people where we don't even know. But right now, what I'm saying is we're what I'm saying is they are opportunities that happen and we miss them because we have done so much and we're focused on certain things that we got to do in the physical. It's time for us to go to the spiritual.
Say, are we going to do things our way or our Savior's way?
Amen.
One thing about, you know, what we should do, the Bible is clear on what we should do, you know, but it's also clear on our deliverance as well. And that's why I like what son Judah put in there about the patience, you know. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. It's a lot that we want to do, but then we're still limited in terms of what we really need to do. You know, we trying to get up out of here, you know. And when it comes to that, we're set with a lot of limitations. That's why the Most High say he going with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but we know it's going to end ugly for them.
Mm-hmm.
But just like our ancestors saw the judgments on Egypt, you know, we're gonna see some things here.
Right. It brings me back to like, yeah. You know how I mean I see it get done even to this day in the so-called continent of Africa. The Israelites that's over there, they are literally, I seen them literally on video, having ashes on them and wrapped in sackcloth praying. You know, how they still in this modern day time live out the customs that we were told by the Most High Yah to do. It brings me back to because we messed, you know, we don't have no power, but the thing is, it takes me to the story of Joseph. Now, when he was threw into prison, you know, he was most likely broke, busted, and disgusted. Ain't have a ain't had a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But how is it that the Most High, the Most High had chose him and gave him a gift that only could have came from the hand of Yah, gave him the gift, and that was a gift that the Pharaoh needed, and it caused him to be second in command. And he didn't have no big guns. He ain't had none of that. He was in jail, broke, busted, and disgusted. So the mighty hand, you know, too much is given, much is required. You may have one guy here that all he can do is put on some sackcloth ashes to pray. You have another one over here that he can get on a broadcast and have 1 million people sitting right there waiting to listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so on one hand fit the other. That's even in scriptures. Like, the lungs can't do what the testes do. You know what I'm saying? The heart doesn't do what the brain does. And, you know, but at the same time, at the end of the day, they all got to work together, and it's going to take power and energy. And, you know, that only comes from Yah, because that's the only way we even know that we Israel. You know, the spirit of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, how sincere we is for it. How sincere can we be? Because, you know, we'll debate about a commandment of Yah, but if Edomite police say, pull your black self over, we gonna do it without talking back or anything. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a sincerity, and we do gotta really cry out, you know, on one accord. Just like the day of Pentecost, you know, we just gotta be on one accord and really cry out to the Father, because anything that we see on media, it's been already manifested in heaven. So we don't see our forefathers looked at the heavens. We looking at the phones. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. It's a difference.
Let's get some more of this. Go ahead. Who else has
Yeah,
something?
the reason I said it's something And yes, I know we have to wait on the Most High. That's why in the book of Hosea, chapter 2, it tells us that we're going to be allured to the wilderness. So we got to
Uh-huh.
move. We got to do something.
Yeah.
And also, when the Messiah, when he came, he was baptized. When John baptized him, the dove came down. What happened? It said, "This is my beloved son. Listen to him." And then when you go to Luke 21, verses 19 to 30, it tells you, he says, "When you see Jerusalem come past with army, get up out of here. Run. Tell the ones in the field, don't come in. This is the day of vengeance." So if we sitting around like what we learn in Christianity, just wait, 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 and not move. If they would have did that, our seed would have been completely destroyed. That's why I say, according to scriptures, I understand we got to wait on the Most High, but also we got to do something. And thank the Most High. We got people like Ron Dalton Jr. and um, um, Divine Prospect. He's supposed to be talking to the UN. I think might be this month. I'm not sure. So we people are making moves. They're not sitting around. What I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
I
we
see what you're saying.
just sit there, and, oh yeah, we just got to wait on Messiah, and that's it. Then the Messiah, he told y'all to get up out of here. If you sat around Roman's army came in, you'd have been destroyed. That's what I'm talking about.
I see both sides because that goes back into the positions. You know, not everybody is called to go to the UN and go stand before people. Now, if you're put in that position, you know, then that's different, you know. But the most that a lot of our people can do is get behind people like this, you know, and support what they're doing. But the praying and fasting part is definitely a key. I think the Most High going to provide a way for us to make the move we need to make, and it's up to us at that point to go on and do it. You know.
You know what? Because what it is what Brother Kazar is saying is true, indeed. But at the end of the day, we're going to the same people, asking them, but we don't have that power yet. He told the disciples, "Tarry here until I send my power from on high, and you shall receive the power of the Holy Spirit." Not many days hence. We got a not many days hence moment that we waiting on. And that's why I'm with you 100%. That's why I believe we're going to need these two witnesses that's going to do exploits. That's why he's sending these two witnesses to do the exploits. Because with all that we're doing, the biggest part or the hardest battle that we really have is breaking through the confusion of our people. They have successfully divided us, split us into a million factions.
Yeah.
Just like the book of Judges. And there was no king in Israel, and every man did what was right in his own eyes. But I'm still looking at this. They got Kyrie Irving up there grilling him. They got Stephen A. and all these other mugs and Mr. Charlie up there looking on. And they're talking 24/7 about this. And that's why they're rushing Jeff Bezos. See, there's still an open door.
Yeah.
In the Most High, listen, Most High, what did he say? Joseph said, "My brothers, y'all good with me. What y'all meant for evil, the Most High meant it for good, to bring many people unto salvation." So we are looking at this. We can even be looking at this in a dim light because they project fear. But I said it, I have whispered it. I said, "Oh, hallelujah." I'm looking at that. The more they bring this, If somebody get happy with me, the more they bring me,
Yeah,
I'm looking at our deliverance is coming up. I'm looking at the Most High is bringing exposure to Himself.
Right.
People are
right,
curious.
right. He said it. Brother here just said it. He said it real well, especially when he just said how the Most High will take was meant to give us a curse and turn it into a blessing. He really did it good on that one because it takes us back to that story of that donkey that was when Baal was supposed to curse Israel, but it was the hand of Yah that, you know, caused the donkey himself to even say, I can't do it. You see what I'm saying? So we seen that being played out here right now with the social media. Because trust me, if they didn't want certain things said, you know, it wouldn't have never hit the air. You see what I'm saying? So whatever example they're trying to put, this is where the people who was really led by the Spirit will be the only ones to see that it's so much good coming. This is meant to curse us, mess with us psychologically and everything, but it's going to do nothing but bless us because you know how it is that when you tell so many lies, now in order to put a lie upon a lie, you got to go on and let some truth out now. You know, you sit in front of a table with somebody, and you just continuously lie to them. After a while, you're gonna have to admit some of the lies that you've been saying is true. After a while, if you want to keep on putting lie on lie on after lie after lie, and what we getting out of this is that we are the true people of these scrolls,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they don't want, but they're gonna get it anyway because this is what they do. Better that the crumbs come from this media than the angels of Yah to go to work. Cause see, they can't beat the angels of Yah. They can floss on us all day, but they can't do that with the angels of Yah. So it'd been better. So they'd rather that we get it from them than the angels themselves, because that's what happens. You see what I'm saying? But what they meant to curse us, it's actually gonna bless us and cause the elect of Israel to rise. And just like Kadar said, we know faith without works is dead. You know, faith without works is dead. Whatever the Most High Yah gave us power to do, we gotta do that. And staying prayerful after that, you know, as far as action. Because being a young man, it's action to just stay in the house and stay away from all these girls walking up and down the street with these tight pants on. You know, that's action in itself. You know, no, I won't go. I'm gonna stay in. Stay away from temptation. You know, all these things and action. So what can we do? All we can do is what we can do. Because being in prison like we are now, you know, these apartments, these are just simply jail cells on a platter plate. Okay, and right now we still in that state of captivity, but in order for it has to start mentally first. It has to start with the mind first, and this here what's going on can do that, but some people they get there, wake up and just go right back to sleep. So we got to call out. We got to call out in a divine manner. The same hand that's holding that sun every day, that's holding that moon every day. Hey, these people are so artificial, just like saying they got a fake sun out here, you know? And you know, and we just gotta cry out for the most. The same way that Abel's blood cried out when he got slain, when Cain killed Abel. We gotta cry out the same way. And as far as the action part, whatever we have that the Most High Yah blessed us with and act, hey, we just gotta get up and put it to use.
This is as far as, and I read this a lot, as far as action and what we should be doing. It tells us, you know, what we should do. You know, Brother Jason put up a comment a minute ago about the brothers and sisters in Israel and how they're struggling and they have to go through all these loopholes for acceptance and citizenship. That's not what the Most High told us it would be like when we return to our land. He didn't say nowhere in prophecy that when he brings us back, that would be what we would have to endure and go through in our own land. This is what he told us. It said, and this shall come to pass, that as ye were a curse among the heathen, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I save you, and ye shall be for a blessing. Fear not, but let your hands be strong. What is this? This is the part right here where brothers is talking about, fasting and praying, but you just sitting down. Let your hands be strong. Meaning what? For thus said Jehovah of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, said Jehovah of hosts, and I repented not. So again have I thought in these days to do well unto Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear ye not. Speaking of the house of Judah, because the tents of Judah is saved first. All right. So he's saying, fear not. He said, these are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. That's what we need to be doing right here. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. Meaning once we learn the truth, practice it in your own home. With your own children, your own wife, your own husband. The word that the Most High gives us. He said the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. Start living for the Most High in your own home and in your own life. It says, and let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. We got brothers in the truth and sisters in the truth who still got this mindset toward other brothers and sisters in the truth. Evil imaginations in your heart. And it said, love no false oath. Love no false oath. What's the false oath? What's the oath that the Most High made with our forefather, the covenant? The false oath is people thinking that we under the new covenant now to do the Christianity. The false oaths that we make in all of these different arenas in society as a means of getting along. How somebody posted the first Maccabees earlier. How you had men among Israel who went and made a covenant just so they could keep the ways of the Gentiles and prosper. These are the false oaths. It said, for all these things that I hate. So these are the things that we should be doing. Speaking the truth, living the truth, and refraining from the world as much as possible. Coming out of this system, coming out of these religions, coming out of these false doctrines, these false beliefs, even some of the false beliefs that our brothers and sisters are into who know that we Israel. Come out of these things. Don't imagine evil in your heart against your neighbor. Speak the truth, every man to his neighbor. Who is your neighbor? The Bible tells you who your neighbor is. Those are your people. Any opportunity, and see, this is a major opportunity, because a lot of people sit around and wonder, man, how can I speak the truth to my people? The Apostle Paul did that when he traveled. He went places and wondered, man, what can I do to allure these people into the truth? Like the Most High said, He's gonna lure us. What can I do? How can I become all things to all people for the sake of saving some? And this is a perfect opportunity. Who don't like rap music? Old people like rap music. Look at all them old women twerking online now to all these trap songs and stuff. So now when you mention Kanye when you mention Kyrie, that's something everybody can relate to. Hey, bro, what do you think about this situation with Kanye, Kyrie? They say whatever they say, then you can put some fat on their head, give them something to think about. Why would the elites be blackballing them and bothering them the way that they are if what they saying ain't true? I done already had that experience twice with random people. People who outside of the knowledge of who we are, they don't know what's going on. And that's what they want. They want to keep spinning it as anti-Semitism. It's like somebody running up to you, telling you, oh man, somebody said this or did this to me. They don't want to tell you what they did. They don't want to tell you they slapped the dude upside the head and ran off with their money. They just want to run to you and say, oh, this person did this or said this to me. That's the same thing. Using their means to control people's thoughts, how they think about it. Oh, anti-Semitism. You know, he posted a link to a movie with a lot of anti-Semitism in. Well, what was the name of the damn movie? Can y'all at least put that out there? I'm starting to think the name of the movie was anti-Semitism. The way they keep saying it.
Yeah, the name, you know, just the thought of you being accused of being anti-Semitism, or that if you say anything concerning this group of people, you basically telling us to shut up and keep our mouth shut. That's what you're basically telling us to do. Man, this thing of, oh, then they had the you know, the ASIANS. Remember them? It was a crime to go against them. Now, to go against everybody else, they got a crime for, but we are clearly blatantly smack dead in everybody's face, getting shot by the police for nothing. You see what's going on right here, right smack dead in our face. Got us looking like cucks. You know what I'm saying? And you know, but what name is for that? Like, it's just an everyday thing that's have us on front being sliced up like guinea pigs in front of all the other nations. There's no name for that though. Nobody gets held accountable when you do that towards us. But if we do that towards somebody else, it's time for people to lose money and lose their position and lose their spot. But when they say something about us, it's just another day of entertainment. You know,
that's how it is when you behind enemy lines. But Brother Kadar has a good point about, you know, what should we be doing in the process of praying and fasting? You know, he said, let your hands be strong. So this is a time where we should feel confident in speaking this truth, because we actually got help now. Whether anybody believe in what Kanye said or whether they think he was right or wrong, it's a grounds to create a discussion, a dialogue, and to get people to think. Why are they only showing you one side of this thing in the media? It's definitely something we need to handle delicately. And that's why we do what we do behind the scenes. If you have a chance, you're on your job or anywhere like that, just spark up a conversation with somebody that look like you. You know, even if you talk to a Gentile about it, just get some perspective from them and see how they think. Ask them who they think the real people are.
Brother, I love doing that at work. They don't even talk to me no more. I let everything I can bring out. When I get a hold of the Gentiles and they talk to me about Christianity, they don't talk to me no more. We end up riding together, and they don't want to talk about that, because I bring everything out and I tell them what's going to happen according to scriptures to them. And like I said, fasting and praying is the most important thing. Getting back to the statute of laws, just like what you read, most important thing. But somebody, I think it's Vanessa Webb, put a scripture up, Psalms 94, verse 15. Yeah, I read the whole chapter the whole time, but verse 15 of Psalms 94 is talking about how long shall the wicked, triumph over us.
Yeah.
It says, but judgment shall, sorry, verse 14. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance, but judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity or lawlessness? So if you keep on reading this, get right into it. And Most High basically is telling us that he got us back. If you go to Isaiah 45, the whole chapter, he's telling us, I got you back. If you go to Joel chapter 3, he said, I got all nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Who you think gonna be fighting these battles?
Yeah.
Joel chapter 2. Who you think fighting these battles? What I'm saying is that we got to have a mindset to do something. Even when we came out of Egypt, we had to trust the Most High that he got our back when we left. What did he do? He parted the Red Sea and he swallowed up the armies. What I'm saying, just like the brother said there, faith without works is dead. We can fast and pray a lot. Now, I would ask anybody, do you think our people that knew who they was when they was caught up in the slave trade and defeated in war, you don't think they was fasting and praying? They had no choice but to fast. And we know they was praying. You see, that's why when Kanye said slavery was a choice, we broke the statute, laws, and commandments. But we see what happened in Haiti and Jamaica. They fought back. They got free.
Yeah. Most definitely. That's why I said it's all gonna work together, I believe. Because a lot of times people do certain things presumptuously. You know what I mean? But I agree with you 100%. I believe it's all gonna work together. And when it comes time for us to move, when it comes time for us to fight, all those things, man, we're gonna be on point. Best believe. But did y'all want to get into some more of this? This is this next chapter goes into Columbus and the Jews and the slave trade. I'll read a little bit of it and then we can close out. It says Columbus, Jews, and the slave trade, not Jews, but Jews, were the real financial basis of the first expedition of Columbus. On August 2nd, 1492, more than 300,000 Jews were expelled from Spain, ending their 5-century involvement in the black hostage trade in that region. In fact, the Spanish Jews amassed large fortunes dealing in Christian slaves and became quite prominent within Spain's hierarchy. They had obtained the most important offices and positions of trust in the cabinets and counting houses of rulers, and had maintained great influence over the regional trade, causing many to believe that the Jews exercised an unhealthy domination over the economy of the region. The rulers were convinced enough to order all Jews to either convert to Christ or leave Spain. The secret Jews, the Marranos, were those compulsory converted Jews and their descendants who outwardly became Christians, but secretly continued to meet in the synagogues, celebrated feast days, and observed Jewish Sabbath. The name Marrano may be derived from the Old Castilian Marrano, or swine, or perhaps from the Arabic Moran, or forbidden. In 1350, Spain began a series of conversion drives to convert all Jews in Spain to Christianity. See the section entitled The Spanish Inquisition. And in unprecedented numbers and with little resistance, the Jews converted. This rush of mass conversion, an event unparalleled in Jewish history, is perhaps best summed up by Cecil Roth it was not difficult for insincere temporizing Jews to become insincere temporizing Christians. So they were just doing it just to be able to move around. The Marranos, also called conversos, converted, or nefti, the neophytes or new Christians, were simply charged with not being Catholic. The same applied to the Muslims, who were expelled in like manner and in greater numbers than the Jews. Some 50,000 Jews chose to convert rather than to leave their land and their riches. Contrary to popular notions, those who left were not refugees searching for religious freedom, but entrepreneurs looking for economic opportunities. When they fled, they brought few Torah scrolls and even fewer copies of the Jewish holy book, Talmud, with them. When asked what he thought most Marranos knew of Judaism after their flight from Spain and Portugal, Roth answered one word: nothing. So they didn't even know much about the religion because they followed the Talmud. So it was all just a front, a cover up. The majority fled south and eastward to North Africa and to centers like Salonika, Constantinople, Aleppo, and Damascus, while others sought and found refuge in the Netherlands, where they established synagogues, schools, cemeteries, and a high level of wealth and culture. Most escaped with considerable sums of money, though scattered throughout the globe by political, economic, and religious circumstance. This is what, when people talk about them being scattered, right? This is what scattered them, or this is why they left and spread out to different areas, is because of this political, economic, and religious circumstances. Yeah, they migrated. They would reunite later in an unholy coalition of kidnappers and slave makers. The day after the Spanish expulsion, Christopher Columbus, whose actual name was Cristobal Colon, took a group of Jewish refugees with him to the New World. Queen Isabella signed the expulsion decree and Columbus's voyage order the very same day, but it was not the queen or the king who funded the voyage. George Cohen, among many Jewish historians, proclaims that wealthy Jews financed the expeditions of Columbus, and adds that the story of Isabella's Jews was not founded in facts, but rather it was an invention intended to glorify the queen. 3 Marranos: Luis de Santangelo, or Santangelo, a wealthy merchant; Gabriel Sanchez, a royal treasurer, and his assistant, Juan Cabrero, influenced Queen Isabella to help them finance the voyage. These are Spanish last names, so these were the Spanish Jews. Excuse me. Alfonso de la Caballera and Diego de Deza also provided funds. Oh, I forgot to read. The Marranos: Luis de Santangelo, a wealthy merchant; Gabriel Sanchez, a royal treasurer, and his assistant, Juan Cabrero, influenced Queen Isabella to help them finance the voyage. Cabrero and Santangelo invested 17 ducats, which would be well over $100,000 today. Alfonso de la Caballera and Diego de Deza also provided funds. Abraham ben Samuel Zacuto provided astronomy and navigation equipment, and Isaac Abravanel also assisted. 6 prominent Jews accompanied Columbus, including Mastre Bernal, a physician; Marco, a surgeon; Rodrigo Sanchez, an inspector; Luis de Torres, an interpreter; and sailors Alfonso de la Cal and Rodrigo de Triana, who is claimed to be the first white man ever to see the New World. Torres settled in Cuba and has been credited with introducing tobacco to Europe from his vast tobacco plants. So Cecil Roth's history of the Marranos, the connection between the Jews and the discovery of America was not, however, merely a question of fortuitous coincidence. The epoch-making expedition of 1492 was a matter of fact, very largely a Jewish, or rather Marrano, enterprise. Then it goes into Columbus and the Jews, Columbus the Jew, pretty much establishing that he himself was a Jew within this article, this paragraph here. Columbus, the slave-dealing Jew. Christopher Columbus was an experienced sailor a long time before his infamous voyage west. Sir Arthur Helps writes that in the course of his letters, Columbus speaks after fashion of a practiced slave dealer. In fact, in 1948, his 5-ship expedition brought 600 Indians to Spain as slaves. 200 were given to the masters of the ships and 400 sold in Spain. Columbus employed slave labor in gold mining even before sailing for the New World. He helped to start the Portuguese West African settlement on San Jorge El Mina, St. George of the Mines in present-day Ghana, formerly known as the Gold Coast. When the Spaniards found gold in the New World, reports Eric Rosenthal in his book, Gold, 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 the Rosenberg Gold Rush, they started on a gold hunt of such intensity that the natives came to believe that white men suffered from some disease curable only by the limitless application of this metal. When Columbus discovered that apart from some poor alluvial deposits, the gold simply did not exist, he forced the harmless Indian Aborigines into slavery. The entire importation of gold from the New World for the first 20 years after 1492 represented in cash only $300,000 a year, and the total then recovered worth about $5 million, cost at least 1.5 million Indians' lives. So, talking about how in the beginning, how he dealt with the indigenous people of the areas he went to, how he enslaved them. Columbus was anything but a blessing to the New World population. The Europeans, led by Columbus, brought unprecedented brutality to the West, leaving the remains of whole communities of red people in their wake. On Hispaniola, Columbus found gold and a docile Arawak population. He lavished praise on the natives and gained their trust and affection, and they proceeded to enslave them. According to Columbus, they were without arms, all naked, and without skill at arms, and great cowards, 1,000 running away from 3. And thus they are good to be ordered about, to be made to work, plant, and do whatever is wanted, to build towns, and to be taught to go clothed and accept our customs. Cities began to spring up all over the island of Hispaniola. The traffic in slaves, African and Indian, grew rapidly, and some Jews were engaged in this trade as agents for the royal families of Spain and Portugal. Whether or not Columbus was a Jew, as so many Jewish historians now claim, has not been definitively proven. It is clear that his brutality against an enslavement of the native population was financed by Jewish investors. The history books appear to have confused the word Jews for the word jewels. Queen Isabella's jewels had no part in the finance of Columbus' expedition, but her Jews did. Jews in the slavery in colonial South America and Caribbean goes into when they started to enslave our people and take them into different parts of the Americas. You know, you had Brazil, you had Hispaniola, you had Dominican Republic, you know, all those different places where Christopher Columbus traveled to. But what you brothers think so far?
Well, like I say, I started all this junk when I found out that, you know, they were a big part of the slave uh, owners in South Carolina. From this, it's like, you know, nothing surprises me, but at the end of the day, this is why we get all the pushback when we talk about reparations. You know, that they use the power of the media and the power of the press and at their avail to stir up hatred and division and the power of our coon.
Yeah.
You know, or basically the power of suggestion to steer everyone, to muddle the issue. Because at the end of the day, with them, it always boils down to the almighty dollar.
Yeah, I think the important thing in dealing with these manuscripts is understanding who the key players are. You know, once again, we think about slavery, we think about the slave trade, we think white people. And true enough, there were a lot of white people who had their hand in it, but they had their hand in it. They were the major players involved in it. They were the one who had the finances and the means to be able to get back and forth. You know, a lot of the Europeans that came to America, they came here and they, you know, that's how they got into it. After that point, they came from Britain and different places in Western Europe. There was no slavery in Western Europe. You know, the leaders of Western Europe established their bases here in America. And we know that once it got into the private sector, who mostly controlled that? It was them. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this, man. If anybody wants that book, a copy of the book, you know, just email me, ebrestore@gmail.com if you want a copy of that secret relationship between blacks and Jews. If you don't already have it, you know. But if you want to order it from the Nation of Islam website, feel free to do that. You know, we don't ascribe, once again, we don't ascribe to the religion. We ascribe to the information, the truth. A lot of what you'll find in this manuscript goes right along with what we read prophetically, which is why I was amazed at how this information could be coming from the Nation of Islam and not Christianity. You know, Christianity is more closely knit with the Bible, supposedly, but none of what the Bible says matters in Christianity.
Mm-hmm. I found out that Christianity, or the church rather, was the one place where you were not allowed to speak the truth.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm what? Oh, the. Was you getting ready to say something?
no, I just said keep the spiritual. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. I know I read an article a while back, and I still look for it to this day. Is in Christianity, they always send spies in the church to make sure the preacher is preaching is not going out of line of things. And the one sound, this is where them preachers get that sound. And I said that sound was a simple. When the preacher made that sound, that was his way of letting the masters, the slave masters, know I still got them in check. Ain't nobody trying nothing slick. And they'll make that sound to give them the signal that everything is okay. That's where that sound of, that's where all that come from.
Yeah, that mental, getting in your mental, get you programmed. And a lot of people are used to that now.
Well,
You're not preaching if you're not doing that now.
yeah, well, actually, that was the way the Sadducees used to preach. I got a book on that. That was another difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and that I was like, wow, where they had the one guy used to read, which is deep, how our brothers do on the street, but the preachers used to do that. They used to do it in a they said it was a melodic rhythmic fashion. But not to take away what Brother Eliashah said, because I'm sure that these people been following us throughout the years, and I'm sure that they could, being that we lost our identity, they could have used that and taught them that as a cue. You know, I agree with that.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna close out, brothers. I just wanted to really get into some things showing how what we see today is not new. All right, it's just the timing. You know, we can go back and show you in time past many people speaking out, saying certain things, but it's just something about the timing we in now. 400 years is up. The nations being judged, and we haven't even mentioned anything about the judgment on the nations, economically, socially, what's happening to the nations. You know, even on a physical level, what's happening to the land masses. They got that to deal with. Plus the possibility of civil unrest, plus the possibility of stock market crashing and all these different things happen. Now you got these Negroes talking about they the Jews too. They got a lot on their plate right now.
They got a lot. The whole world is coming down on them.
You know, so this to have to deal with this would be an extra burden, because you know how it is when they fall, they can't, if they fall and the truth come out, then they won't be able to get sympathy from the people anymore, from the nations no more. You know, that's also a part of maintaining that false identity. Being able to get the nations to have sympathy for them over the Holocaust.
See, because like you said before, when they was we were in Africa already in certain instances, and a lot of the other instances during the time they was getting kicked out, we were ruling, and they were converts along us, and we were catching the hell for their dirty deeds, and actually we were getting kicked out, and they was being left to stay in. But see now, as long as they got us to kick around.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They can continue doing their dirty deals.
Yeah. And then the Most High stirring up the nations. Say Russia and his gang is coming for them. So you got a lot of things happening, man. That's lining up, and you know, all I can say is what the scriptures say. You know, fear not. The Bible talks about how our heart's going to fear and be enlarged for the things we're going to see. I mean, this ain't nothing that has ever happened before in history. You know, Even the what happened to our forefathers in Egypt. That's why he said when this happened, ain't nobody gonna even be talking about Egypt no more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know they was talking about what happened in Egypt all the way up to the time that them fake Jews came and took the land in 1948?
Mm.
They had all what happened in Egypt had been talked about and resonated in the earth all the way up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
It was at that point they started to put all their money behind the archaeology and excavating different areas. They started renovating Egypt. The Bible talks about the pillars that Solomon built on the side of Saudi Arabia and on the side and on the side of Egypt, and they removed that pillar. The Egyptian government removed the pillar because it had inscriptions on there talking about the Exodus.
Mm.
But on the other side where they crossed over, the pillars is still there.
Mm.
So who was big over in Egypt? The excavation of Egypt. You know, they sent all their scholars to Egypt because that's supposedly the center of civilization. You know, everybody know about ancient Egypt and how great it was, but they went over there. They moved a lot of things. They hid a lot of things, mistranslated a lot of things. They took up the mummies and ate them and did all kind of foul stuff with the mummies. But they telling you they got all these mummies. No, they don't. I seen a thing talking about Noah's grave. They found Noah's grave. It's actually they got two different locations for that. But one location, it talks about his grave, and they showed a coffin. That coffin's probably like 15, 18 feet long. Then they have another one somewhere else. I don't know if it's a grave or just like a memorial. But they want to talk about no evidence of anybody biblically or any of the biblical people.
Yeah. They did the same thing with Adam and Eve, trying to say that they was giants. And in a matter of that nature, because they always say, where the graves of this at? Well, okay, the evidence of these people existing is the fact that we here. Because whoever our great grandfather is, they had to have grandparents. Then they had to have grandparents. That's the only way we was going to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your evidence right now.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't need to ask me where. Ain't no need for somebody to come ask me where my grandfather's grave. Like, because if I can't find my grandfather's grave, you trying to say I'm not real? How else did I get here?
Right.
So I'm like,
if science already established Adam and Eve being the first people, being black,
yeah,
I mean, that would make sense. But not enough sense. If you're saying it's you, then nah, you can't prove it, because in all actuality, how many Negroes you see in that field doing that kind of work? How many you see on the forefront,
Yeah, and we'll say something like that because Huey P. Newton said this. He said, don't expect white media to say good things about black people. And what this is, we're looking at them do this because this is a psychological concept of, I got the power, you sit your ass there. But if you was to like literally go over there, you will see more of us kind of in it, because just like they wanted to get the ark. When Elizabeth was trying to go into that ark, go into that spot that was claimed in Ethiopia, she literally stopped and turned around and said, I'm not going in there. It was a divine power that made her just say, no, I'm not going in there. y'all seen that video where everybody that stared her in the face, they'll fall out because it's some type of demon or something, and but even though I know in the scriptures it says that Jeremiah took the ark, but you got to think through all this. Here's a divine thing they hide from us. You remember where he said how he put a fire of cherubims around the Garden of Eden, right? And then that was going to be there to protect, because who is that to protect from? These people who always want to come try and steal something and take claim to it. But it's there. When we talk about the Garden of Yah, or the Garden of Eden, that Ark of the Covenant, it was supposedly, I think they said Jeremiah had hidden it, or
Yeah,
but why? And why is it that no other place has been colonized? Now, everywhere, everybody been colonized except for Ethiopia. Okay, because that's the spot. Even though Europeans done marked this spot and that spot, but that's the spot where that divineness took place. That's just why to this very day, if you notice, they never been colonized, and even in Esau to this day, trying to figure out why couldn't they never colonize that place.
See, why didn't they just take their big, strong, great superpower atom bomb wielding army and just go in there and take?
Right. And still can't do it. This is what we were saying earlier today about what can we do. Like, what is, come on, Ethiopia, them guys over there in Ethiopia, they ain't got the weapons that Esau got, but yet they still protected. You know what I'm saying?
I think they know it's just one of them things they can't do nothing about. Like, I don't see why anybody else would want to deal with the Ark of the Covenant. If you look at what happened when the Philistines took it. What happened when the Philistines took it? Now all of a sudden they trying to get rid of it now.
Yeah, see that's what's going on. They putting this in front of us, but you want to know the real stuff that's going on, it goes to that level right there. You know what I'm saying? And why they want to show us armies and stuff going at it, it's all wrapped around that. Yeah. But she literally stood before she even went to the door. She just turned around and said, "No, I ain't going in." Yeah. And there was some cases of some other people trying to get in there, but they I think one did die, and then the other one just turned around and ran away and just said, "No, I'm not going in there. You can keep your money. I'm not going there." And
I mean, what good is your money gonna do, man? Like, the most you can know is that, okay, it's in there.
Not only that, truth be told, we don't really know where the real Jerusalem is. It says we're gonna go with our faces this way, saying which way to Zion.
Yeah. Have you seen that? It's a movie clip that was circulating around about Indiana Jones. It was a clip where they supposedly found it, right? And they go in trying to open it, and what happened? Everybody in that room got killed except for Indiana Jones. I mean, so even if they located it, ain't nothing they can do, man, but try to come up with a means to keep it somewhere to where it's ineffective and not bothering them. They can't take it nowhere, I don't think.
Yeah, but the principle is stuff like that they don't want reaching us to a high core. They'd rather come from a basketball player and a rapper, just like Muhammad Ali said. The voices of these other nations are entertainers. They're not singers. They're not dancers. They're not rappers. You know what I'm saying? They are literal people that they're looked on to have respect for. But with us, the people who speak for us are, they're in it. So you know how it is. You can a little white lie. You can tell
And you see
just
that
like we was going back to or what we said earlier today, what they mean for manipulation, the Most High is giving it to us for the betterment. The agenda is to keep us confused, but we're gonna actually grow out of this.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We go grow out of this because, yeah.
And that's what I see happening. That's what I see happening. Slowly but surely. And that's why they keeping this in the forefront. They really working this one. I mean, they pretty much left Kanye alone. They're really working this one.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the bejesus scared out of them because of this video.
And I still say the media brought more of the attention to that.
And that's why I still say why Ronald Dalton still has an opportunity to have a quick fire sale.
Yeah.
Look and let this your work be taken away. Though I hear the book is already sold out, so people are waiting on copies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, if you hear that, brother, run. Put volume 1 on YouTube or something and draw people to it. Draw people to the work. But that's, not telling that man what to do with his work. Whatever is in your heart, do it. But this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for the people to receive, so
that's all.
We'll go ahead and close out, brothers. Y'all get some closing remarks.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom to the house of Yisrael. Hey, this hasn't happened in a while, so it's like a lifetime experience we having right here. We got to take it, and like we was asked, what can we do? Well, here's what we can do. You clearly see this is something. There's a divine in the making of this, and we need to just take that, and we need to go all out and show no mercy. Go all out with it, as soon as you get them in the weak spot, that's when it's time to punch the jaw,
Me, actually, I pray that the Most High just continue doing the work, oh Heavenly Father. We went as far as we can go. We sang, we danced, what do you say, we piped, and we still not saved. It's time for us, oh Yah, we put this in your hands. We'll continue doing what we can do. But take over for us, Father. Take over. Raise up more Gideons and raise up more Samsons and raise us up Davids and Solomon, Father. They're running scared now. Continue to pound them with your mighty spirit. We cry out unto thee for deliverance from the hands of our oppressors and our enemies. You see how they mock you and say that they are the people. You see how they lie. You see how they say their money is greater than your power. Look at what the heathen are doing. They've confounded our people to a point of It's impossible, nearly impossible, without your spirit, for us to bring them back in line. They're broadcasting on every channel and they're doing everything they can in their power. But we know and we confess and we declare and decree that this awakening will not be stopped. Bring them to shame, Father. Let us laugh them to scorn, Father. Let us behold the destruction of the wicked in our lifetime. Everyone under the sound of my voice, even everyone whom you have awakened. Rise up, O Abba, Abba, and let your enemies be scattered. Amen.
All praises. Thank you for that prayer, bro. Thank you for coming on, brother Elijah, mighty lion. To the brother Kadar, shalom. I want to thank everybody for chiming in and fellowshipping with us. You had something else?
I know, just hey, thanks for I'm glad. I'm always glad to be around you, breaking bread with y'all. I'm always happy to do that.
Amen. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, once again for fellowshipping with us. May the Most High bless and keep every last one of us. All praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, the sustainer of all things. All praise, honor, and glory to Yehoshua, Mashiach, the Most High, and the Redeemer of the chosen. And all praise, honor, and glory to the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit of truth, comfort, and prophecy, the Spirit of holiness. Till we meet again next time, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Stay safe.